Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Joelle Simone Anthony and I make videos about death, dying, grief, and what it is that we do as professionals here in the death care industry. I am making this video entitled 5 Things Your Career Should Never Do because I've been getting a lot of questions from people that work in some area of the death care industry and people that work in the healthcare industry expressing and asking how do they take care of themselves and create balance in their lives while trying to fulfill their purposes as individuals through their career. Now, I am all about working hard. I'm all about giving 100%. I'm all about doing what it is that you have to do to take care of yourself, live a good life, and provide a level of financial comfort for you and your loved ones. What I am not for is basically allowing the thing that you do to provide for yourself, your purpose, and the way that you make a living in connections with community to destroy your life or to ruin your life. A lot of times in death care, especially, and this goes for any career, I speak from the death care perspective because that's what I do and that's what I know, but you can apply this information to any career path. A lot of times in our industry, we work extremely long hours, we don't get to spend a lot of quality time with our families, and self-care is not necessarily a priority because we're so busy taking care of others. I don't practice my career that way, and I wanted to share with you 5 things that your career, whether it be in death care or any other industry, should never do. The first thing that your career should never do is cause you to compromise your value or your character. A lot of times our careers, our jobs, what we do, and our desire to provide for ourselves and elevate and become the best at what we do, it presents, they have the potential to present opportunities that may cause us to consider compromising our values, our core, and our moral and character as human beings. You have to decide early on in whatever industry and whatever career path that you choose who you are as an individual and what you will and will not do to be successful. For example, I will work hard. I will sacrifice sleep to an extent to, give quality work and quality products and quality information. I will sacrifice certain things in my day-to-day to make sure that I am dedicating enough time to earning a living for myself, right? However, what I will not do is I will not lie, I will not cheat, I will not steal, and I will not talk badly about other people in order to make myself look better in the hopes of advancing in some way in my career. Those are just a few examples of ways that I choose not to compromise my character and my values. There are numerous ways. You have to decide what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do, and stand firm on those things no matter what opportunities present themselves to you or what opportunities for advancement you have. Because what happens when we don't have those core values and that we don't live up to our core character, we begin not to be able to look at ourselves in the mirror. We begin to become cold-hearted, and we begin to project that feeling, that ugliness, that disharmony within ourselves onto others, making us more difficult to work with and causing internal conflict within ourselves. The second thing that it should not do, your career should not do, is ruin your relationships, whether they be romantic, platonic, your marriage, or your working relationships. Your career and your attitude going into work every day and coming home from work every day shouldn't be 100% determined on the day you've had at work. Now, don't get me wrong, there are days where you're gonna have bad days where you're not gonna feel like talking to anybody and your communication may lapse. Maybe you're working on a major project, things are stressful, you're having a hard time meeting a deadline or reaching a goal, and that will cause stress, which has the potential to affect the way that you interact with others. However, what your career should not do is cause you to always be on edge to the point where you can't communicate with anyone, even those closest to you. You can't spend time with them doing things that are not only important to them but important to you. you can't invest emotionally or be present with your loved ones because you're always on the phone, you're always answering emails, you're always doing this, that, and whatever. Those little things have the potential to deteriorate connections, which could ruin relationships. You have to make sure that you're making the relationships that are important to you a priority. That is a really hard thing to do in death care in particular, because death does not keep office hours. We're on call during holidays. In most cases, we're on call on the weekends, and we miss a lot of milestones with our loved ones. However, it's important to set those boundaries and make it be known that, you know, there are other relationships and other people and other things that are important to you outside of your career. You have to decide what those things are and make sure that you're making the investment in cultivating and keeping connectivity within those relationships. The third thing that your career should never do is cost you your peace. Your peace and your peace of mind and your peace within yourself as an individual, your peace with God, your peace in anything is invaluable. Other than our time, in my opinion, it's like the most valuable thing that we have. If your career puts you in situations where you have to make decisions that you don't have peace with, you may very well need to consider getting another job, another position, figuring out how to do things differently in a way that you have peace about on a day-to-day basis. When we don't have peace within our hearts and within our minds and within our bodies, we begin to get sick. We begin to have mental health issues. We begin to break down from the inside out, and it's not a good feeling because you're carrying a lot of guilt, you're carrying resentment, you're just carrying a lot of negative emotions that may be tied to decisions that you're making within your career. Now, as I said in our first thing that your career shouldn't do, you don't need to compromise your values or your core beliefs or your character as an individual. Sometimes we do have to make tough decisions. If you're in management, you may have to let people go. If you're, the boss, you may have to close down a certain part of the company, which, it unfortunately means that people are going to be without jobs. However, if you have to make decisions that you can't sleep with at night, that is something, it's a major red flag that you need to give some attention to and really reconsider whether it's worth it for the decisions that you're having to make. Fourth thing that your career should never do is hurt you physically. Now, unless you're an MMA fighter or a boxer or some type of extreme sports enthusiast, or you do something like maybe you're a stunt double or something where it's potential for you to get hurt on the job, then, it kind of comes with that's the price tag of having that job, right? However, if you work in an office and you're constantly being asked to do things that, make you uncomfortable physically, hurt you physically. In death care, a lot of times we use our bodies a lot. We're lifting, we're pulling, we're setting things up, we're moving heavy equipment. Dead weight is literally that, dead weight. So we understand going into the industry that we're going to have some type of physical requirement on our bodies. However, if you're constantly being physically hurt and injured, you need to figure out how to do what you're doing differently. Demand resources and tools that help you do physical labor easier, or just don't do it. You can't replace this body. We only get one. And yes, we have issues like weight, things that happen in our personal health lives. However, your job in death care or any other industry should not demand that you physically abuse your body and that you're not able to function outside of work because of being physically injured. And the fifth and final thing that your career should never do is cause you to endure abuse, whether it be mental, emotional, physical, verbal, or spiritually. You should not be working in an environment with coworkers, with bosses, with management, where you are having to endure any type of abuse. I have been in this situation. Fortunately, it wasn't in death care, but it was in higher education, where I was mentally and verbally abused by a manager for years. And I did not speak up for myself because I was afraid that I would lose my job. And at the time, I really needed my job. However, had I known what I know now, I would have reported this manager. I would have sued the company for not putting a rein on her after others had reported her, and I would have either quit or just not continue to be in that environment anymore. You are a valuable human being. You have a life which makes you worthy of respect, and if you are in an environment where people aren't respecting you, or people aren't treating you correctly, or abusing you in any way, that is not something that you have to tolerate. This is your permission to put an end to it right now. I hope that these suggestions or tips helped. I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. My name is Joelle Simone Anthony. I'm also known as the Grave Woman. Thank you so much for watching. Live life, love hard. I'll talk to you next time.